What a morning. What a morning. We've now gotten the news that in the United Kingdom, 2 people are dead, and a terrorist has been killed, apparently. It's troubling. We're 5 days away from the 2-year anniversary of the October 7th, 2023 terror attack on Israel by Hamas, the terrorist organization, that killed 1,200 people, including Americans and people from 56 different nations around the world, including the United Kingdom, and then subsequently led to 256 international individuals being taken as hostage by Hamas, the terrorist organization, tortured, sexually abused as confirmed by the UN. That led to the death of Brits that were hostages, as well as 17 out of 22 Americans. The last American held for over 582 days before they were finally released. All of this while Hamas has been offered 25 separate offers of a ceasefire and or peace deal, deals that are confirmed and guaranteed internationally by virtually every nation on the face of the earth, because Hamas apparently, clearly, does not care about its own people. They allow their people to die. They allow their people to starve. Whether you think Israel is right or wrong, Hamas has the ability to have ended this over 18 months ago and has chosen instead to continue to go down a path holding on to hostages and the dead bodies of those hostages, to extend this conflict because ideology, because they have a fanatical belief in Islam and they wish to commit genocide, and any and all costs towards that end is acceptable. And sadly, in the United Kingdom, in Europe, and in the United States, we have many individuals, left-leaning, that agree with Hamas, that support Hamas. They are pro-Hamas. We have seen the protests at Harvard, at Columbia, at colleges throughout this nation, in small places like in Binghamton, New York, with Binghamton University. We've seen this, that there is an indoctrination that says that Hamas, because they are small, makes them good, regardless of what they have actually done and the impact they have had, and that results in what we see today. All of that adds to the fuel of what leads to today. No, not online radicalization. It is a culture of radicalization that allows, and in some cases justifies, the violence that is unacceptable, inexcusable. Terror, acts of terror. And that's what happened today. There is no way to look around that. It is an act of terror. It was meant to terrorize Jewish individuals, to terrorize average citizens, to force people to comply. And that's not a new thing for England. It's not a new thing for Europe to compel speech, to compel people to comply with the will of government, that they can't post certain things online, that they will be thrown in jail for just making a statement. That's happened in Sweden. It's happened in in France, in England. We're seeing it in Canada. And it's coming to America. It is in America. We have seen that the United States has influenced the rest of the world, the first world nations of the world, to adopt its progressive ideology. That's our export from our educational institutions, from academia, is to export this progressive ideology that leads to support of pro-Hamas movements and encourages and excuses acts of terror, which then comes back to the United States as reinforcement and vindication for that movement here in the United States as it is around the rest of the world. We have to call this out. Yes, this is something that's happening in England. And people will say, here in the United States, we hear people say all the time, well, it's just a matter of getting a gun ban. We have to just ban this firearm or that firearm because they look scary or they were in a movie. They have some unrealistic expectation of what a firearm is, or the fact that they totally disavow the fact that 99.994% of all gun owners are legal, law-abiding citizens that never have posed a threat and never will. No, we say we need a gun ban and that'll be it. We have to be more like England. We have to give up our rights. We have to give up our freedoms. We have to obey and hold our head down, be obedient to the government, because government is smarter than any one individual. Even though government is just a group of individuals, none of them generally smarter than any individual out on the streets, out in the rest of the country. And does that work? No. The insane, fanatical terrorist that killed 2 people, injured at least 3 others, with a car and with a knife in Manchester, didn't need a gun. That wasn't the source of the problem. They've banned guns for over 300 years in common use in England. And guess what? Look at their knife crime. Look at events, these terrorist actions that happen anyway. All the gun control, all of the knife control, that's just a way to get people to comply. Fear. And in that environment of fear, and we are in an environment of fear, in that environment, the only thing that you get as a result is more government control, less freedom, and zero safety. You are no safer now in the United Kingdom with them banning words online, punishing people for a post that someone ambiguously, anonymously doesn't like. The banning of firearms, none of that has saved anyone. That isn't protecting anyone. Same thing here in the United States. Those bans, those restrictions, those demands for obedience have not saved people. Look at Charlie Kirk. Look at the ABC affiliate. Look at what happened in Dallas. No, you're not made safer. Yes, there's always that one-off outlier, that one person who is insane and a maniac, like in North Carolina on the train that stabbed a Ukrainian refugee, young woman, for no reason other than the color of her skin. Those maniacs exist, but they're also motivated and encouraged by the climate that we see, as we're seeing here in Manchester. It is the pro-Hamas movement that helped to, either consciously and even subconsciously, to encourage and to justify that act of terror, likely motivated not only because it's Yom Kippur, the holiest of days for the Jewish faith, but also because it's 5 days from the anniversary of Hamas initiating a war they knew they would lose, that they knew would cost their people dearly, and did not care. Because the goal was fear, the goal was genocide, the goal was terror. A terror that has swept across the rest of the world and is to varying degrees affecting first world nations, second world nations, nations across the world. We have to call all of this out. And we have to do something about this. We have to stop these movements. Let me say it better. We have to reject these movements that, based on the collegiate academic definition of what is racism, what is prejudice. We have to reject this idea that just because you're small, then therefore you must be the innocent person, you must be the good guy, and anyone who is bigger and stronger, well, they're the bad guy. That's not oppression. but it is motivation, and it is justification. And we need to address that directly. That is important. Or we get more things like this. In 5 more days, I fear for what's going to happen, not just in England, which, by the way, has recognized Palestine as a state. They've tried to do the 2-state policy, and it isn't effective. It never will be. Because you cannot have peace when one of the individuals involved is genocidal and has declared in writing, in their statements, in their actions, to eliminate the other. You cannot have peace in that. And we do not have peace in our nations, any of our nations. That is sad. But I look forward to hearing what you have to say about all of this. Thank you.